We are serving up scares in today's video.
We have a whole selection of spooky Catholic books to send a shiver down your spine.
Welcome to our annual Spooky Catholic Books video, where we share all the fun and frightening books that we've been reading here lately.
We've got quite the stack here today, something for everyone, and we're going to be rating it on our spooky scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being for the wimpiest reader.
That would be me.
And then 10 being books that scared the daylights out of us.
We are also giving away a set of spooky books today, so let's get started.
So we're starting first with the Weird Catholic Handbook by Michael Likens, which is a collection of very interesting stories, some of them spookier than others.
It takes you on a journey through the strange and sacred, and this one is divided up into sections. So if you're in the mood for a good story that's not too scary, start in section 1 and read about Saint Columba and the Loch Ness Monster.
Or about saints who slew dragons like Saint George and Saint Philip.
But if you want something a little scarier, go to the section on Catholic ghost stories. There you'll find stories about ghosts from both St. Augustine and St. Gregory the Great.
Or if you want to get even scarier, you could read the Wizard Clip, which is a ghost story from Appalachia, however you want to pronounce it. Either way, we hadn't heard that one before, and it was quite bizarre and chilling.
Yes, that one was definitely mildly disturbing. But anyway, this book has a story for everyone, from stories about relics, bone cathedrals, spooky miracles, and the more we read it, the further we got into the book, the more we enjoyed it.
The book is also very nicely illustrated, and one of our favorite features is an index in the back of weird Catholic pilgrimages, so you can find a spooky place to visit near you.
So we are giving the author an A+ for this one, and we would definitely love to read more of his work.
And we're also going to give this about a 4 on the spooky scale, and that's taking an average because some stories in this book were scarier than others.
Next up, we have The Curse He Chose by a longtime favorite author here, Sister Allison. It is book 1 in the Eternum trilogy, and it is a certified Catholic vampire book.
Which you don't see many of those out there, and we've read other books by Sister Allison before, like this one, and so when we saw this, we knew we had to read it. And it follows Elizabeth, who one night stumbles into a fight between rival vampires. However, a vampire fight is not something that you can witness and then just walk away from.
So Elizabeth does end up in the middle of the fight and has to be rescued by Christopher, who is a vampire himself, and then they wind up on the run together.
So you watch how everything unfolds after that, and it's definitely scary in places. There's nothing too grotesque, but vampires and the lengths they will go to are not to be trifled with.
It was also really fascinating how Sister Allison was able to weave together facts that we know from vampire stories and literature with her own creative takes. And at the back, there is a section called Fact or Fiction, which addresses what we know about Catholic beliefs and vampire legend. And there's also a section of protection prayers, just in case you need those.
And the book also has a lot of great themes, like how no one is beyond God's forgiveness. And it also talks about things like being angry at God and what it's like to fully submit to his will. And I also had to commend Sister Allison because when she writes Elizabeth sharing her faith, it is so natural and the dialogue is so well placed. It does not feel forced at all, which is not always the case with young adult books like this one. So I just love how she wrote that.
So overall, it's a scary story, probably not going to keep you up at night. We put it at about a 5 on the spooky scale, but honestly, we can't wait to read book 2.
So next we have a chilling thriller perfect for this time of year. It is The Black Friars by Erin McAfee. This one is set in Oxford and it has a murder mystery and all kinds of spooky stuff.
So it's the story of Father Thomas, who is a Dominican priest and a lecturer at Oxford, but he hears a very chilling confession one day, and that sets him on the trail of a murderer, and along the way he uncovers a lot of very grim, dark secrets.
Now, there is some language in this book, so a heads up about that. And if you want a in-depth review of that, I did review it in this video, so we'll have that linked down below. We're gonna give this one a solid 8 on the spooky scale, and it actually did remind us of some of Edgar Allan Poe's darker short stories.
So there's also a very interesting character in this one. After we finished reading it, we thought, wait a minute, hold on. Is this guy who we think he is? He reminded us of someone from the Bible.
So we were really curious and we emailed the author and he was like, yes, you're on the right track with that. So keep an eye out for that when you read this book.
That was very clever. And then last but definitely not least, we recently finished Book 3 in the Awakening series by Catholic author Jacqueline Brown. Book 3 is Haunted, but the whole Awakening series is a great Catholic fiction series that deals with things like spiritual gifts, spiritual warfare, the suffering souls in purgatory, how we can help them.
And in book 1, Awakening, you meet Sienna and her family who live in Maine. You also meet their neighbors, including a young man named Luca who has some very unusual spiritual gifts. And together you see them tackle the goings on at a dilapidated inn on her property.
Next in the series, book 2 is Gifted. In this one, Sienna learns that she has her own spiritual gifts and she's being called to use them to help a young girl who is appearing to her in her dreams. Both books 1 and 2 so good, so we were very excited to finally get a chance to read the final book in the series, Haunted, book 3.
And in this one, Luca and Sienna are working to help free a soul from purgatory. And they really have to hold on to their faith and use their spiritual gifts when times get tough, which they do, not only in the things going on in the spiritual realm, but also within their own families.
No spoilers, but wow, this one really ends the series with a bang, a very satisfying conclusion. And this one deals with all kinds of interesting topics like purgatory, hauntings, and the power of prayer.
So this one's great for adults. It is great for teens. We really appreciate that it is fiction because a lot of the books that deal with spiritual warfare are nonfiction books targeted at adults. So this is one you could read with your older kids and we guarantee it will lead to some lively discussion.
Plus, these books are just perfect for this time of year.
And for the spooky rating, we are going to put this one at a 7.
The series altogether is definitely on the scarier side because there are topics in it like demonic possession. I'm going to say book 3 is a little higher for me on the spooky scale. I'm putting it as an 8 because there was a situation going on in this book that was definitely creepy and it gave me a serious chill.
So today we're going to be giving away a set of all 3 books. So thank you very much to the author for her generosity in being willing to send out all 3 books to a lucky winner. So if you're curious about the series and you want to check it out, leave us a comment down below.
Okay, so there you go, 4 more spooky books to help you make it all the way to the end of October.
So let us know in the comments if you read any of these and what you thought, or if you have any spooky Catholic books to recommend.
So we hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.